Hey everyone, welcome back to New Wave Media, episode number 9. This is your host, George Padilla, and I'm here with Alijah Lundgren.
What's up?
What's up, my dude? It's been a minute.
It's been forever.
It's been a couple of weeks since we've posted, we've podcasted, we've really done anything to do with New Wave Media.
Yeah, man, we've been MIA.
So,
and you know what's bad about that?
What?
Like maybe 2 episodes ago,
Yeah.
we were like, "Yo, we're on this.
Yeah.
We're not missing any more weeks."
Then we went to Vegas.
Then we went to Vegas. Well, no, that was when we went to Vegas.
Oh, that was when we went to Vegas.
Yeah, and then we came back from Vegas, and we were like, "All right, guys, we're gonna be consistent."
And then I went to Cancun.
You went to Cancun, and like a lot of work came in, and a lot of stuff's been going on.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah,
let's start.
Where
from
is
the beginning?
the beginning?
The beginning is as soon as we came back from Las Vegas, we put a podcast together that unfortunately there was a lot of technical errors.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That podcast never came out.
It never came out.
So we did record one before this one, before you went to Cancun. But we had some technical issues, and basically that episode is lost.
That episode is completely lost.
Didn't work out.
Here we are, episode number 9. Welcome back to New Wave Media.
Nice, George.
You never know.
Double intro, just make sure.
Just double intro.
Yeah, and that was a really good episode too. And we might have to kind of roll that back and try to do it again, because we had sat down with my cousin Zeb, who went to Vegas. Well, you went to Vegas with us.
I invited myself.
And he did, and it was great. But we sat down and we talked about our trip to Vegas. We talked about our shenanigans. We talked about, you worked out there a little bit. We talked a little bit about that, but we'll have to roll that. We'll save that. We'll do another. We'll do a follow up.
A follow up for that. So, well, let's just get started with what have we been up to since we've last seen each other. A lot has gone down. I went on a trip afterwards to Cancun / Tulum. We did a couple of back and forth there.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I was there with family, and in the meantime, a lot of stuff came your way. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, kind of the place to start probably is the day before you guys left for Mexico. We both had a wedding that day. You had one here locally. I had one up in Seattle. But something actually happened a few days before that.
What happened a few days before that?
Well, George.
And remind me, it's been a minute.
So, people who have listened to us throughout New Wave Media.
I feel like I'm in trouble.
Throughout, even the people who listened back when we were doing, the New Wave Creatives, and you and I have always had this little thing that we do where we kind of we kind of rib at each other, we poke at each other.
Yeah.
You shoot Canon, I shoot Fuji. And a couple of days before that Saturday, before you left on that Sunday, I bought a new camera.
You finally made the jump.
I made the jump. I now shoot Lumix. I am Panasonic. I'm just kidding.
You're funny,
I wouldn't do that. I bought a Canon R6 Mark II.
And you love every
and there's a
piece
reason there's a reason that I did that.
Okay.
Beyond just I need to upgrade or whatever. I firmly believe that I produced some very solid work with my Fuji X-T4, with my APS-C lens and my f2 lenses and my basic setup, right? I had switched to that camera from a full frame camera to save money on my system, to simplify things a little bit, and to basically get into something that didn't do all of the work for me, right? All of these modern cameras, especially the full frame modern cameras, you basically can hand that camera to anybody and tell them 3 different very simple instructions, and they can take a solid photograph, right?
Correct.
So I wanted to be a little bit more involved, which was awesome. And I think that when I made that switch, it really did push me creatively. I think it really got me back into the swing. But when I made that switch, I was not shooting the volume that I'm shooting now. I wasn't
volume as in the amount of photograph or weddings,
the amount
photo
of
shoots, all that.
shoots in general.
Yeah.
You know, we do studio stuff. We both do weddings. We do weddings together. We're shooting stills. We're shooting video. I have family sessions often. I just today just did a 8-hour product shoot. There's just a lot. There's a lot on the schedule. And it's a lot more, like significantly more than I was doing when I made that switch. So I was assigned a wedding, or well, I got a wedding. And it was a really cool, so this was my Saturday.
Yes.
This wedding was really cool. We started in a park in the Queen Anne neighborhood of Seattle, which is way up on a hill, overlooking like downtown Seattle. It's a beautiful neighborhood, old, big, old, fancy houses. And this little park that we were in was like, it used to be like the garden of one of these big like chateaus. And they converted it into a park. It's a really small park. Their ceremony was there. And then we went to a tattoo shop.
Nice.
After their ceremony, they got matching tattoos.
You showed me a few of these sneak peek photos.
Yeah.
And the photos you sent and you showed me, man, those things were awesome. Like,
Thank you.
I'll touch into this in a little bit, but keep going.
Here's the biggest, the thing that pushed me, the thing that drove me, the thing that made me go, okay, I need to upgrade. The third stop in this wedding day was a hidden speakeasy inside of an old bar downtown Seattle.
Yes.
You go into this bar, there's like this big old like bank vault door in this bar.
That's awesome.
It has like the combination lock on the front of it and stuff.
And so you go into the speakeasy through there?
So you go into the bar and that's there.
Wow.
There's a phone next to this vault and you have to pick up this phone. Somebody answers the phone and you have to tell them what the password is.
Interesting.
And if you tell them the correct password, they open the door, they unlock it and you can go in. The room that this speakeasy is, this bar, inside this bar, is without question the darkest room I have ever taken a photograph in my life.
And you knew that going into this?
I knew it was going to be.
You did your research?
I knew it was going. No. Well, okay. I knew it was going to be very dark.
Okay.
I did not know it was going to be that dark.
Interesting.
So, and I didn't want to take flashes and like lights and all this stuff that would like ruin that ambiance, right? Like I wanted to be able to shoot this wedding and capture the mood and the lighting and the colors and like what it looked like without off-camera flash or on-camera flash.
The most natural light you could get.
I wanted it to be as natural as possible. So I knew going into that with an APS-C sensor, with glass that I think an f1.4 lens on the Fuji equates to like an f2.1 or 2.2, something like that on like full frame.
Yeah.
And so I knew going into it, I don't have the ISO performance and I don't have the aperture for this. And so I made the decision that I'm going to sell this camera. I'm going to buy this camera. I'm going to make the jump because I'm in this position now where I'm doing so much professional work.
Yeah.
I need to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Anything. And I really do feel that way now with this.
And
camera.
so do you feel like the jump, I know the jump was necessary based off what you're saying, but do you feel like do you feel a shift? Do you feel something has improved or maybe you missed something or do you feel a change going into it? I know there's obviously
it is
a
a
change.
significantly better camera. I mean, it just is. The autofocus is very good, very sticky. The Mark II has some like fancy smart autofocus stuff that's kind of cool.
That AI
feature where it kind of just, a lot of cameras now have subject detection and the R6 Mark II has like an AI thing. Everything's freaking AI.
Yeah.
That can pick the subject for you. It can look and know what you're shooting, but I don't really use that. But the autofocus is great. The camera in general is fast and responsive. It's very easy to navigate. It feels good in the hand. It does feel big and it does feel heavy because it's just bigger and heavier than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But I'm getting used to it and it is comfortable. It feels good in the hand. I think anytime you get an exciting new piece of gear, you know,
Yeah.
it can give you kind of like a burst of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, yes, that is being reflected in some of my more recent photographs. I'm more excited. Like, I'm always excited to do weddings, but I'm like more excited right now to go do a shoot because I get to use this new camera. So,
well, one of the things I noticed, and I know we've talked about it, is I've seen a lot of your composition changing.
Yeah.
From Fuji to this, not in a good or bad way, but well, I guess it's in a better way.
Yeah.
Because now the camera's doing most of the job.
Yeah.
And you're kind of focusing more on composition.
Yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing that I have noticed in switching is that I do not in any way, shape, or form worry about whether or not I'm going to get the shot.
Mm-hmm.
I know if I point the camera at the thing and I hit the autofocus and I'm on servo and I'm good to go, I'm going to get a usable shot. I know that. With the Fuji, I wasn't that confident.
Yeah.
You know, the autofocus was decent until you started to get into low light or you started to get into crowded situations or one thing that I hated on my Fuji was if I had face detect or eye detect on and it would like jump to a different face. It wasn't super straightforward and simple to get it to go back
to the original.
The Canon, like if it sees multiple faces, you just hit the joystick and you can switch
pick
between
different eyeballs,
pick different eyeballs, pick different faces, pick different people.
I think, well, I don't know about the R6 II, but if you click it, it'll switch faces.
Oh.
But if you go left or right, it'll switch eyeballs.
Oh.
At least on the R5.
Well,
or vice versa. Either one, but it does the two features.
I'll have to mess around with that because I don't know.
Unless there's a feature you might need to turn on or not. But I know that I can switch eyeballs and I can switch faces as a whole.
There's been a couple of times where not knowing the menus has hindered me a little bit. There's been a couple of times where like I really wanted to get a shot up close of something, but the face detect was on and I didn't know how to like just jump in and fix that. So, you know, but I've figured those things out now. I've got a lot of my custom settings set to the way I want them. And I feel very confident that I can move with this camera and do what I need to do now.
How's the custom ring on the lens? Have you been using that? I know you set it for, was it white balance?
So you use it for white balance. Yeah. And a lot of the settings that I initially set the camera up for were your settings. That being said, yes, it is still on white balance.
Kelvin?
No, it's just on select white balance.
Oh, I see. Okay.
However, I feel like there's got to be something that I could use it for that would be more useful. I find myself somehow switching the white balance accidentally a lot.
I have a fix for that.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's been a thing. Like there's been a couple times I had an engagement shoot this past weekend. And I, at some point bumped the ring and it switched to a different autofocus and it was like really warm and I didn't realize it until I had already done like several shots. And so like, it's not a big deal. I shoot raw. So it's not like it, you know, it's fine, but it's just, you know, that
if you can get it right in camera, like that'd be better.
It's ideal, right?
That the same thing happened to me lots of times. So I'm like, I found a fix for that.
Okay,
and it works great. It works amazing. So
we'll go over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is this is a very long-winded way to say I switched cameras and then I shot some weddings, and it's been I had that wedding, and then you went to Tulum you went to Cancun the next day.
Yeah.
I stayed in Seattle, came home that night, and then the next weekend had another wedding in Seattle. So I've been to Seattle back-to-back weekends now. And
aren't you going back this week coming up?
Next week.
Yeah,
this week I stay in Portland. We have a wedding we're shooting together in Portland on Saturday. And then next week I'm in Seattle again.
Yeah. Okay.
So
next week I'm in Bend.
Oh.
Well, is that next week?
I don't know.
No, July 1st is this weekend.
Yeah.
No,
July 8th.
In 2 weeks. On the 15th, sorry. 15th. Saturday.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that actually.
Yeah.
She's a client who I met the very, very first time when I was in Portland, and I did a next door like, hey, free photo shoot.
Oh, cool.
I'm trying to get my, and she was like, hey, it's my birthday. You think we can just do a birthday photo shoot?
That's cool.
And like, we just went out to, it was on the Lake Oswego, like one of the lakes or whatever the lake.
Yeah.
And we just went around the neighborhoods and shot. And then like, here we are 5 years later, and she hired me for her wedding.
That's awesome.
I'm like, wow, that's, I didn't expect her to.
You invested years ago, and look how it returned to
and
you.
It's awesome. I'm super excited to see. I mean, she has come a long way since then, as far as like, I think she was here as a student.
Like on a visa?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then now she is, the things that she's doing from her career is like, you just see people grow.
Right.
And it's amazing.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm photographing her wedding, and
awesome.
I'm super excited for that. Yeah.
Heck yeah. How booked are you over the next? So for me, this Saturday kicks off. I'm booked every Saturday and several other days, but every Saturday.
Yeah.
Between now and the end of September.
So I want to say my July is more open because I did take the June, what's it called?
The vacation.
The vacation.
Yeah.
And I just really wasn't accepting really all that much. But after so July 1st, July 15th are the only two kind of spread out. But after that, I think the 22nd weekend or something like that, from there, it starts to get busy pretty much every Saturday.
It's exciting.
Some Sundays because there's a McKenna wedding that we're doing
excited
together.
For that one, yeah.
Horning's Hideout, by the way, which is a really cool venue.
Yeah.
You been there?
I haven't been there, but I have a couple weddings coming up there.
Okay, I actually have one right. So her wedding's on Sunday. That Saturday, I'm photographing there.
Oh.
And then we have her wedding there day. As well, but it's not at the same location. It's like there's like a campground location, and then there's like a completely different location where hers is at that I haven't shot at.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that'll be pretty exciting. I've never done that venue within that venue, but should be fun.
Yeah.
And I think I'm booked up until I want to say September, October. Yeah. Oh no. October, November. I have 2 weddings in November.
Oh, nice.
And then that's kind of my end.
I have nothing after October, but I'm booked for like half of October at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I only have I think 2 in November. And yeah, man, lots of weddings and smaller shoots coming.
Yeah.
But I also feel like a lot of that not being busy this summer as much as I want it to be is because the focus has been on other places.
Yeah.
And usually I'll accept a lot of the weddings last minute as well.
For sure.
But I've kind of just been putting things off because of other reasons, which is the studio.
Yeah.
The studio is something we've been trying to put together, and
it's been a lot of work.
It's been a lot of work.
Yeah. A lot of not just like actual like tangible work, but also just like a lot on your mind, like a lot of emotional and like, mental work.
A lot of thinking. It's like
thinking, planning.
You have to have a business plan. You have to have numbers crunched. You have to look into insurance. You have to look into so many different things that, yes, it's work, but it's like work that we don't really ever do because we're there. We're in person shooting, photographing, editing.
This is like admin.
And this is like admin work that I would never want to do ever again, but it has to be done.
Right.
And if it has to be done my way, because if I pay somebody to do it, it's like, it's not going to be our way.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Plus it's kind of fun to know that like, what does it take to really open up a studio, and how much work, what can I learn from this if, in the future we open up a different business too,
Yeah. So what have you learned?
I've learned that you have to cross your T's, dot your I's, really read everything, really have a plan together that will back up everything that you have to bring forward. I can't just be like, hey, next month I'm projecting to make $6,000. Like, well, how are you making those $6,000?
You gotta have.
Here's my marketing. Here's the the rental space price. Here is the camera I'm using. Here's how much I'm charging. Here's where this is. Like, literally, what am I eating that morning?
Right.
That's gonna cost me money for breakfast.
Right.
Like, obviously, that's kind of to the extreme.
For sure.
But basically, that's what they want.
It's a lot of planning.
It's a lot of planning, and it's like, just the last 2 days alone, I've been nonstop on the phone. I was texting you and I was like, hey man, like, this is what's happening, and here's what's happening on a 3-way line, because we need to have this paperwork in order. And it's like, that phone call was over an hour long.
Right.
And I did most of just the listening, and they did most of the talking.
Right.
And I was able to put input here and there, but it's like, it was hard.
Yeah.
Yesterday and today. And then it's funny because I was like, hey, I'm going to go to Profoto, see what I can do to open up an account and kind of look into these lights that we need.
Yeah.
I was on my way there, and before we get to that corner stop or that corner store, as you're leaving my home,
right up the street,
and then you like make a right, not the Johnson Creek one, but like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I was there, and I got an email from the landlord, and immediately I whooped around,
went back home,
whipped around, came back home, signed everything that needed to be signed, sent it to the, from A to B, blah, 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 this, and that. And then I went back. And I'm the type of person that if I don't get it done right now, it's only going to push it one more day further.
100%.
And I can't do it through my phone because it's like, first of all, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's just way easier if I just come home, do everything I need to, and then go from there. And there's been a lot of it. Like I was in the middle of, luckily while I was in, we were in Tulum at the time. And luckily while I was on vacation, I 100% did not want to work.
Right.
There's exceptions.
Yeah.
And one of the exceptions is if my attorney, if my, my lenders, my banking, anything needs to be done, I'm going to make myself available.
Yeah.
And I did make myself available. They called me. We were on the phone for like 45 minutes, and we were in the middle of about to have dinner, and I just like kind of had to step out. And I was like, if I don't take this now, it's for Friday. It's going to get pushed until Monday.
Right.
And by the time Monday comes, I have a travel day, and then I come back and it's Tuesday.
Right.
And then I'm tired. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just going to get pushed.
And I was like, I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Went out, did my thing.
Well, and also a lot of it is, beyond just not wanting to put it off, a lot of this stuff has been very time sensitive. Like,
absolutely,
literally, this opportunity could go away if we don't get on this early enough.
Exactly. And it's like the studio space is available as of right now.
Yeah.
However, if I was to push this 1 or 2 days, maybe it's Friday today, and it gets pushed over the weekend. Here comes Monday. Finally, I get to it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Somebody might have already came by, done everything they needed to do
with cash in hand, and it's done. So on that note, I feel like we should take a couple steps back, because the last update that we had given to our listeners about the studio was that we're going to open one at some point. And
we don't know when.
Well,
that's kind of what we said.
That's
it could
what
be
we
in
said.
a year.
Yeah,
it could
we
be in
don't
6
know.
months.
We
We
don't
have
know.
no idea.
But what you just said was this studio space is available right now. So what we do need to reveal at the very least is we've got a space.
Yeah. So I would like to reveal something to everybody. Things have happened so fast. I'm just going to say it, like within this week, I should be signing a lease to opening the studio much faster than I anticipated.
Right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I absolutely am 100% on board for this, and we have a plan.
Yeah.
We've been thinking about this. We've been putting so much effort into where all of the funding is going to go and what exactly we need in order to get that up and running.
Yeah.
And again, we're hopefully signing this week.
Yeah.
And estimated within the next week or two, we should have a studio with keys. And then that is the beginning of
the build out,
building out the studio.
Yeah. Which, it's a beautiful space.
It's a beautiful space.
We've found a very beautiful space.
It's got 2 skylights.
We don't want to give them too much.
Much information.
It's a beautiful space. It's very central. It is very easy to get to. It's secure. It is pretty much everything we want.
I'm going to reveal something.
Do it.
It is a natural light studio with the option to make it into a fully enclosed lighting studio.
So we'll have professional lighting,
professional
for
video
both video and photo, right? And but it also has amazing natural light throughout the day. 3 like floor to ceiling windows and 2 skylights.
Correct.
It is a beautiful space. I think it pretty much checks it checks pretty much every box that we wanted to check.
It does.
In the realm of the studio. And also, we send out that survey.
Yes.
That's probably the last big content push that we did was trying to get people to fill out the survey. We got a good chunk of responses.
Yeah. I actually, thanks for bringing that up, because I want to say something to our listeners
Absolutely.
out there. I really appreciate everybody that took the time to put this survey and fill it out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that, we may or may not have the funds to do that right at the very beginning.
Right.
But we know in the direction we need to go.
Absolutely.
And a lot of those are kind of what we had in mind, but also it reassured us that this is what the people in the community want.
Right. And the thing about that survey is just full transparency. Like, we had already gone to this space. We had looked at it. We were interested in it before putting that survey out.
Exactly.
And when we got the results of the survey after a couple weeks, we let people fill it out. After we got those results, we pretty much realized, like, this space is perfect. Mm-hmm. This space is perfect for everything that we saw in that survey. I don't think there's anything that came through that survey really that we're not going to be able to deliver on. Not saying we're going to deliver on everything that came through the survey, but like, this space is versatile enough, and it just checks a lot of the boxes that we needed to check. So I'm excited. I'm so freaking excited about this.
I think a big part of it, me too. I'm like really looking forward to it. And one, we get to create our own content, but also we get to share the space. People can come and rent the studio and just create. And also, it's a very simple studio, but because it's so simple, like, you can do so much,
right? Right.
And I'm looking forward to that.
I love that. This space really reminds me of a couple of spaces that I have rented in the past. And it's the simplicity of it is really one of the beauties of it.
Yes.
Obviously, it's very simple right now because it's empty.
Correct.
We will not leave it empty necessarily, but we're going, I think, to try to keep it pretty minimalistic. We will have touches of things in there for people to use and people to, move around or do whatever they want with, but also it's not going to be cluttered. It's not going to be full of things that we don't need. I think we're going to try to be very, very intentional on anything that we bring through those doors is there for a reason. And I'm looking forward to that too. I
do also want to say, one of the things we would like to incorporate that was in the survey is, one, we want to put a psych wall there.
We do.
It's not going to be this, crazy huge psych wall, but it's going to be big enough that we've worked at studios with psych walls in the past. Yeah. And, sometimes we have these psych walls that are, extremely large, and then there's some that are smaller.
Right.
And I think the psych wall that we want to put in is kind of in that medium range.
Yeah, big enough for maybe a few people to be on.
Big enough for a few people for sure, and big enough to definitely do some moving around and getting creative.
Yeah, for sure.
And the walls the ceilings, I should say, are pretty tall.
They're pretty high.
And my hope is to get everything and anything we need to get people to start creating.
Yeah.
And a big plus side is we will have video continuous lighting there to cater to not only photography, but also anything video. Yeah. Whether it's, hey, you want to make a podcast? There's lighting there.
For sure.
Hey,
and it's also, it's a pretty, it's by no means a soundstage. It's not soundproof. It's not built for that, but it's a fairly quiet building.
It is.
On not the busiest street. So it's
a very fairly quiet.
Yeah.
And a plus side about having the studio is that you could use it all year round with heating and air conditioning.
Yes.
That is a big plus that we didn't necessarily get it for that reason.
No, but it helps.
Having air conditioning and heating at the studio could definitely help during winter or even in the summer.
Definitely in the summer.
It's gonna be great, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to live there for the next several
It's going to consume our entire lives. And that's okay. I think
that's what we want.
We've been motivated enough to really want to see this vision come to life for a very long time now.
And not just for, not just to rent it out, not just for it to be a business that we run, but also for it to be a place where we can invite other creatives and collaborate with other creatives.
Exactly.
Because we both strongly believe that there's no competition in this with it at all. Like, this is all about us helping each other grow and us providing a place for others to grow. And that's a big motivator here.
Yes, absolutely. I think being the teachers as much as we can.
Sure.
And again, there's a saying I've always brought up on the podcast, and it's like, I'm going to teach everybody everything I know in order for them to come either with me or replace me so that I can move forward.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And this is a studio for that. You're a super beginner. That's great. Come join us.
Yeah.
We'll give you the tools to learn and get where you need to be.
Yeah. You're super advanced. Cool. Come teach us something.
Come teach us everything you need. Everything you know.
We're not. I would say that we could maybe be classified as experts in photography in general, but we're not. We don't know everything.
Yeah.
We've never owned a studio. We've spent limited hours in the studio. So this is going to be a big learning experience for us too.
Absolutely.
Both from, running a brick and mortar business. That's neither one of us have ever done that.
Nope.
The
most I've ever done is just a home studio. But
right. But that's not even like part of your business. It's just something that you have available to you, right? Like, our business is very, like, your business and my business individually are very on location. We travel to you, and this is a place that we're opening for people to come to us, and that providing a space like that's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's
on
different,
our plate, but it's going to be good.
It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait. I'm so thankful that I'm involved in this. I'm so thankful that I am in a part of this journey and that we're doing this together. And like, I think the future is really bright, and I think that this is going to be the start of a lot of really big things.
I agree. And I know that there's going to be ups and downs, just like any business.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, we've worked so hard in our individual businesses that we have some sort of like knowledge to what's to come. And so, like, there's like that pillow and blanket that I know it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I know it'll be okay.
It's going to be great.
And it's just only time will really tell us, I guess, how fast or how often or how slow we're going to grow or whatnot.
Right. Right. But I mean, even outside of the growth of the studio and like, bringing people in and building our clientele and all of those things that we need to do. Outside of that, this is also going to be the place where our podcasts are shot from here from the time we get it forward. That is where the podcast is shot.
That is where
you and I will work out of. So our, when we're editing, when we're doing client consults, when we're doing anything involved in our collective business or our individual businesses, that will be the place for it. And then any content that we're creating that doesn't need to be on location, we'll do that in the studio.
Absolutely. So that is the location to do everything. And moving forward, I like the idea that it's not, it's more, it's like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's our 9 to 5,
right?
The way we want it to be.
Right.
And I no longer have to mix work with my home life.
Right.
Like, I can come home at like 8 o'clock, let's just say.
Well, and the other cool thing, and this is only really cool for you and me, but this is cool. Well, it's really it's only cool for me at this point. This studio is like dead center between our houses.
Yeah.
So I get to travel half as far, and you get to start to travel twice as far.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that it's going to be nice to have a place where we can work that we're not distracted by, especially particularly you aren't distracted by like home things.
Yeah.
Like, you can have your home life.
Yeah.
And then you can clock into work, and then you can clock out of work and go back to your home life.
Exactly. I think that's going to be a really big change for me. Like, there's been a lot of changes in the last year or two, but I think the change I've always expressed was like, I need to not mix my life with my work.
Right.
And like, it's easy for me to be like, oh, I'm not really sleepy right now. It's already 10 p.m. Hey, I'm just going to go and edit photos.
Right.
Like, that's super easy. And it's great and all, but sometimes it's not healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, I need to have that separation where I leave work at work and I have my home for home.
Right. Well, and the other side of that too is like, being able to go to work, and if you don't have anything to do, there's always something to do. Mm-hmm. You're going to find something to fill that time with, and then when you're done filling that time, it's going to be really easy to clock out because you're going to go home and not feel like there's something you have to do.
Correct.
You know, and that's huge for me. Yeah. This is where I work. Like your house, if I'm not shooting, your house is where I work.
Exactly.
You know, I edit at my house, but other than that, like everything that I do is here. So it's going to be really cool to not have to come here and disrupt, you know, the flow
one of the changes that I'm going to have to get used to is like everything you see in here is more than likely going to be at the studio.
Right.
Like none of this podcast, my computer, my printer, like
maybe you can get some furniture in here and like make this.
I used to have a couch in here. Mm-hmm. I used to have, the TV's always been there, but like I used to have a couch. This used to be a smaller living room with just my desk on the corner.
Right.
And now it's my full-blown studio, like workspace, and I think I would love for it to go back to my normal job or awesome. Home, I should say.
Be a place where you can come and close the doors and wind down instead of coming and closing the doors and working. Because you work. This guy can't stop working ever. Like we will be in the car having a conversation. In the middle of a conversation, he's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta write an email," or like, we'll be earlier today. We were at Best Buy. Just getting disappointed, and he stops in the middle of what we're doing and writes an email. It's like this guy does not stop working, and I get it. Like when an email comes in, I want to respond to it too. But I think that I'm a little bit better about being like, okay, I can do that in 15 minutes when I'm done at Best Buy.
Yeah,
you know, and it's. So it'll be cool. Yeah. It'll be cool to see if you're able to actually leave work at work.
Yeah, I think I can.
I
think a lot of the reasoning behind that is because like the reason why I keep working and working and working, even when I'm not supposed to be working, even when I'm out with friends and stuff. It's like a lot of it has to do with where is my next paycheck coming from?
Of course.
And if I want to impress my clients, he wrote to me really quick. Like, oh, wow, he's interested. Wow, he's super fast. Like, even with, like, I think I mentioned this earlier just now, actually, in this podcast, is, I did. Because, like, I whipped back around, immediately sent out the paperwork. Right. Because when I want shit to be done, I want it to be done now.
For sure.
Because I want the other person on the other side to also do the work back as soon as possible. Yeah. Rather than
and that's a product of your own impatience, really. I mean, some of it, I'm not saying that you don't care about like how you're perceived in that. Like, obviously you want to take care of your shit and you want to be perceived as someone who takes care of their shit. Mm-hmm. But also when it's something that's exciting to you, you're like, well, I want to do my part so that they do their part so that we can move forward because I'm excited.
I'm really grateful for the way things have been going with the studio because, almost like 90% of the time, I have immediately responded, immediately provided paperwork, immediately did what I had to do. And 90% of the time, they immediately got back to me, or they got back to me at a fairly reasonable time. It wasn't like, 2-3 days later. Like, this was within the same day.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
Outside of that 9 to 5 normal workday for them.
Yeah. Just to kind of break the fourth wall for a second, I just want to tell you what I'm doing. Like I keep looking at my camera, and George just checked my camera to see why I'm looking at my camera. The reason is we have, up until this point, my angle generally is on the Canon R5, which is George's main photography camera.
Yeah.
And the R5 has a 30-minute record limit on it.
Which I absolutely hate.
You may have noticed, if you're an avid listener, that around half an hour through most of our podcasts, there's kind of like
a cutoff,
a weird jump. And that's because we have to cut all of the recordings and then restart them because of that record time. The C70, which is what is pointed at George right now.
Hello, everyone.
Which, by the way, I don't know if I guess you can't really see it in my camera, but you can see my camera in your camera. But anyway, the C70 has no record limit. It has a heat sink on it. It doesn't overheat. But right now,
and it's got fans and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, my camera is on me. So the R6 Mark II is recording me right now. So the first time we've used it for a podcast, and we're at 42 minutes.
Yeah.
Almost, or 40. We just hit 43 minutes, and it hasn't overheated yet. But what I was looking at is to see if the icon has popped up, because it'll pop up an icon that says it's going to overheat.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. So, I mean,
I'm wondering if it's going to do separate files like the Fuji, or if it's just one continuous long file.
I think it's going to be one continuous long file.
Okay.
Yeah. The Fuji splits files every 30 minutes.
I think it's every 4 gigs.
Or maybe that's it.
Just based off of what I was importing.
Yeah, maybe that's it, and that's weird. But that's that. The Fuji has a record limit, so to speak. This does not have one. It is not capped.
Okay.
So, but what I've read online is that at 4K 60, the R6 Mark II gets about 45 minutes, and we're doing 4K 24, which should be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So hopefully it just doesn't overheat. That's the hope.
Yeah. I guess
So
we'll find out.
We'll find out. So that's what we're doing. I freaking love this camera.
Man, I'm so glad you do. I've seen a big change. Again, because you're focusing on composition, and it's like
just to jump back to 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. I just feel like you're much happier. You're you're busier, not because of this camera.
No.
But this is the reason why
I'm more
you upgraded.
enthusiastic. I was really stressed about my workload. I mean, I have a lot of weddings on my plate, and weddings are a big deal. You don't get a do-over with a wedding.
Yeah.
If I have a portrait session and my camera screws up and something goes wrong, it's not comfortable, but we can reschedule. We can try again. Oh, there's no try again with a wedding.
No,
and that Fuji, I used that camera, man. Like that was that I used that camera. So, and it's nice because the person that bought it is going to strictly use it for video.
Okay.
So, we're not worried too much about the shutter, whatever. But I knew that camera well enough to know that I needed to make a change. I needed to. And
I'm honestly, I'm glad you did, because one of the things that I was going to bring up just now was it works out because I'm already invested in, heavily in Canon.
Right.
And that's not like to say the reason why you did it, but because you moved to Canon, now you can use all my lenses. Now I can use your camera for a second or third angle. Like now we can just share, and any lenses you buy in the future, I get to use. Any lenses that I have in the future, you get to use.
Helps.
It just helps.
It helps a lot because I had a system in Fuji. I had several lenses. I had flashes. I had a lot of gear. I was heavily invested in Fuji. And I've been lucky enough that I've sold most of it already. I have like one lens left. I have a speed light that somebody from Monday Pals is going to buy. And I have like a couple other little things, but most of my Fuji stuff is sold. I bought one lens with the R6, which was the 51.8, which is not an L lens. Not an L lens. But it's a great lens. It's small.
Yeah.
You used it for a while.
So here's the thing is like a lot of, maybe
that's the funny thing. Really, like I bought the camera. And like 2 days later, we both had a wedding on that Saturday, and I took the 51.2 and you took the 51.8 because you were going to take it to Mexico. But
and I didn't even use it.
I literally haven't used it. Like,
yeah,
I've had this camera for 2 weeks. I have not used the lens that I own. But I mean, I'll get it back today, and then that'll be what I use.
Yeah, but I was going to say funny. Maybe for photographers that are listening out there, they might have the same kind of thought process that I had, which is like when you're in EF and you use the kit lenses, you're like, dude, like this is the worst I've ever, like, why do they even make these lenses?
Well, even the kit lens for the R series are terrible. Well, they're not terrible, but they're not, I mean, they're not fast.
That's what I'm trying to get to is like, you're right. They're not fast. However,
they're sharp.
They are so damn sharp compared to the EF version that if all I had was a 50 kit lens or even a 35 or a 16.
Hold up.
Don't even say kit.
That 50 is not a kit lens. It's a nifty 50. There's a difference.
It is a nifty 50.
A kit lens is a zoom lens that's meant for multi-purpose, and it has a variable aperture. That is a kit lens. 4.3
to 5.6 to 7.
Usually it's like 3.5 to 5.6. But that's a kit lens. The 51.8 is, do you have it?
It's a nice starter. It's back there.
Well, I kind of want to grab it.
Go grab it.
I'm going to grab it. Hold on.
All right. So as he's grabbing the camera or the lens there, like the 50 millimeter, the 35. I have the 16 that I'm recording on this Canon C70 right now. That's what you're watching me on, and
it's tiny.
It's tiny. It's a great lens, sharp. It's not an L glass series, but my point is, from EF to RF, they blow those out of the water.
Yeah, it's great. They're really good. I borrowed, so for that first weekend of weddings, I shout out to our friend Jelly. I borrowed her 35 1.8, and so my kit was the 35, and then I had the 50. It's not on anymore. Oh, it's right here. Okay. All right, just a little comparison. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, those are both 50s.
Both 50s.
That's crazy.
Right. So, a little comparison. 51.2. 51.2. 51.8. This thing next to each other. This thing is tiny. So that it focuses. This thing is tiny. Like, it's crazy. This weighs probably half what this weighs. Yeah. And like, you can look this up. They're like YouTube. If you look up the 51.8 RF 51.8 versus RF 51.2, almost everybody is going to tell you that this is going to do the job 99% of the time. Yeah. There's
a 1% of us that can tell the difference, and it makes a huge difference.
There is a difference for sure. There is a difference. But if you don't have $3,000 to buy this, you can spend $179.
I think so.
On this, I got mine for $100.
You got a good deal.
I got a crazy deal when I bought the camera.
You bought the camera. You bought a flash. You bought a lens.
Yeah.
You're going to buy a new bag. You bought a bunch of
clothes. I have spoken about a bag, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But yeah, it's been an interesting switch for sure, and I'm excited to continue. The 35 is like the same size as this.
It's funny because the 16 is also.
Yeah, the 16's a little bit smaller.
A little bit thinner.
Yeah, I think maybe.
No, I think
it's about the same size.
About the same size.
The 35 is a little bit bigger.
Taller?
Yeah, like longer. Like this way. But only a little bit, and it's a macro.
I know the 85 is both. It's a little bit chunkier.
The 85 is bigger.
Did you borrow that from Jelly?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that one's a macro as well.
Oh, we rented the 85 1.2. I gotta.
That's
go
right. Okay,
tomorrow.
so we are tomorrow's Thursday.
We're nerding out so hard right now.
Yeah, it's all good, man. So
tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, so we rented a 85 1.2, which my brother has and I've used, and it's amazing.
It is like when I was on Sony, which was my last full frame system, my favorite lens, bar none, absolutely was the G Master 85 1.4. Best lens.
Oh,
best.
Too
like
bad we
to
can't
this
shoot
day,
with
that's
Miranda.
the best lens I have ever used.
Yeah,
we could rent it for another day.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, too bad we can't shoot it with Miranda over the weekend, but I would love to we should make a video reviewing that. Coming from a 50
the 85 1.2
and just you have an R5 or an R6, I can just film you using it with the C70, and like I don't know, man, I think it'd be fun.
I think it'd be fun too. I mean, yeah, why not add to the slew of lens reviews on
that's the thing is like one of our, I know there's a bunch, but like it's one of our things.
We haven't done one.
We want to make videos. We want to teach people. We want, what is a video I would like to see.
And there's also there's people out there that value our opinion on things. And so my opinion on this 51.2 is that it's amazing. Like, this is one of the best lenses I've ever used. Without question, this is one of the best lenses. Some of the pictures I've taken with this lens have blown me away, and I've had it. You've had it forever, but I've had a camera that I could use it on for 2 weeks, and I'm already like, holy shit, this thing is amazing.
Yeah. When you zoom into that eyeball that was in focus,
so sharp.
Like it's weird.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should throw while we're talking about this, we should throw in just on top of me talking right now. We should throw in a couple of pictures that I've taken on.
Oh,
this
that'd
lens.
be cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So if it's not there, yell at us. But I think it'll be there.
I think it'll be there too.
Yeah.
I think look at this photo right here. Look at how sharp this. I have no idea what's popping up, but
yeah. Well, we should put some up on the screen.
Yeah, we could even put a little link to like a little Pixie set gallery, just people can click on and go look at them. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
Be pretty neat.
But yeah, I think one of the fascinating things about when you have a very shallow depth of field on a picture is as long as the eyeball is completely tack sharp, everything else is fine.
Yeah.
As soon as that eyeball loses focus, the entire picture will look like it's out of focus.
Right. And I think that's one thing that I've really appreciated getting back, switching back to like a more, advanced system. Sony was kind of the like originator of eye autofocus. Like my A7R III, I think, was the first Sony camera where you could do eye autofocus in continuous. You could always do it in single, but they added it in continuous, and I think the 3rd gen. And that was amazing. This is probably stickier than that, which makes sense. That was, 5-6 years ago. But just being able to just know reliably that I'm going to get that person in focus every time has been a game changer for me in the last 2 weeks. It's been a game changer. I love it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at that light because there's a giant mosquito kind of flipping around here. Not that one. That's another mosquito that's tiny.
Oh man, we're getting bugs. You want to close the door? That's okay.
Nah, we're fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. So well, I mean, we've talked a lot about everything, really.
Well, yes. There's one more thing on our list.
Yes, let's talk about it.
What's next?
You know what?
What's coming up?
That could be a lot of different things.
Well, okay.
Studio wise,
let's
or
keep
it could be.
Let's keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
What is on your agenda between now and the next episode? In terms of shoots, what shoots do you have coming up between now and the next episode?
Well, we both have a wedding coming up this Saturday.
We do.
We also have a potential
collaboration
with one of the models that we normally. You see that now?
Yeah,
that's
see
not
that.
the one. I'm talking about. So Miranda reached out. She wants to shoot again, and we would love to photograph and create.
Miranda is the queen of our YouTube channel.
Yeah, she is. Like, we always photograph with her, and I've shot a little bit longer with her.
Yeah,
but
I'm just starting to get
very, very glad that you're coming on board with video, or vice versa. Like,
it's gonna probably be hybrid next time.
The behind the scenes is it's great.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, so there's a potential of doing that with her, but I know we said Tuesday, July 4th.
She can't do that.
She can't.
Yeah.
So there's going to be hopefully another day, which is Wednesday, maybe the 5th.
Maybe the 5th. Yeah.
And so that's coming up, and then the week. The Saturday after that, I think it's the 8th. I have a wedding on that date as well.
Yeah, so do I.
And then again on the 15th, and then
forever and ever.
Anyways, yeah.
Forward.
But yeah, moving, into this week between now and the next episode.
Yeah.
July 4th would be here. I don't think I'm doing anything crazy, anything fun. Maybe I'll barbecue in the back, but honestly, like every July 4th,
we should get pork chops again. Yo, we made some fire pork chops a couple weeks ago.
They were so good, and I've never cooked pork chops.
Yeah, but you killed it.
And that's the thing is like. It was a great night. We had so much food just for the two of us.
It was ridiculous. It was honestly, it was unreasonable how much food we had for just the two of us.
And so my wife went to Disneyland on her own, and she wanted to do a little solo trip. She didn't get to go with us for, was it Christmas?
Yeah.
Because of the whole flight thing, snow and canceled flights.
And, I took her to the airport and I dropped her off. And
then it snowed, and she was like, "Hey, can you pick me up?" And you're like, "You're shit out of luck. It's super snowy."
You gotta call an Uber dog. Sorry.
So, anyways, she finally went. Her ticket was going to expire soon, and she just did a solo trip.
Yeah,
and
which is so dope.
She's been wanting that. So that night, we went to Safeway or something, and it was like,
Safeway.
4 for $20.
4 for $20.
Pork chops. We had chicken.
We got two packs of pork chop, like pork ribeye.
Yeah.
And then we got a pack of chicken wings and a pack of burgers.
Burgers, yeah.
And we literally ate almost all of it.
And we had
chips and salsa. And
we had a couple of drinks.
We had several drinks.
I mean, yes. And it was a great night.
It was
we had fun.
Night.
And yeah. So anyways, that kind of went off topic.
Yeah, I don't know why we just went into that, but we should barbecue for the 4th of July.
So what I'm saying is like we'll barbecue, but every year we've been kind of just kicking back because our dogs are very, very anxious with fireworks.
Yeah.
So like I don't expect to do anything. We never really do anything,
right.
Just because we want to make sure our dogs are fine.
Makes sense.
And so if anything, I'll barbecue during the midday, and then as soon as fireworks start, I'll probably come inside, hang out with the dogs, like not much really going on. And even the days leading up to that, it's like, it's going to be a little rough because it's always like July 1st, July 2nd. And then even a couple days after the 4th. So like, and for an entire week, we have to really be cautious with our dogs.
Question.
Answer.
Today is June 28th. It's a Wednesday.
Correct.
This is not our normal podcast day.
It's not.
Are we going to drop this on like today, or are we going to drop this
tomorrow morning?
Okay. So that means that 4th of July will be after our next episode.
It would be, you're right.
Yeah. So I was going to say happy 4th, but I'll say that next time.
Yeah, because this is the plan. Because we've been gone. I just got back from vacation. We're going to edit this, pump this out in the morning.
Yeah.
And then hopefully podcast maybe Sunday.
So,
if
Sunday
you
or
know,
Monday.
We can talk about, Monday is a regular day.
Monday's our regular day.
And then talk about how did our wedding go?
Yeah,
what did we do? What did we get?
This will be our first wedding we've shot together when we're both on the same system, which means it'll be the first wedding we've shot together where we're sharing gear.
Correct.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
We've also rented something. We're going to have more than enough.
Yeah,
gas.
we will definitely have more than enough. And I do plan on taking every lens, every camera.
Yeah. I'm going to bring all my lenses and cameras too.
And I mean, you're right. All of your lenses.
This one right here. This is the one.
But yeah, when they're, I honestly look forward to that.
It's going to be so much fun.
And I'm going to just warn you right now. There is, when I told you earlier, like, could we try and shoot hybrid?
Yeah.
I really want to try and shoot hybrid.
We're going to shoot hybrid.
So my warning to you is I'm probably going to be like, hey, can you get video of this?
Yeah.
And so like what I'm trying to say is I'm going to be bossy.
That's fine.
But don't take it personal.
You're my boss that day. I am second shooting for you. You are the boss.
True.
That is fine.
All right.
We have, I know we're trying to sign off, but just on the topic of this wedding we have together.
Yeah.
We have like 4 more.
Hopefully more.
We have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just this scheduled at this point. I think we have
like probably 4 more.
I think we have 4 more, and one of them we're traveling. Well, 2 of them we're traveling. We've got the one
Kaiser.
We've got the one in Kaiser,
which is this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Saturday. Kaiser.
We've got the one in the barn.
Horning's Hideout.
Horning. Okay, that's 3.
Everson, Washington,
and then the one in like
Cape
Kawanda. That's 5. That's one 5. Of mine. And then we have the blue Mackenzie River one, which is the one the date. So
I think I know what
we have the one on the 22nd of August, which is Southern Oregon.
Oh,
and then we have to leave that wedding and go straight to Cape Kawanda to check into our hotel.
Yes, to
shoot a sunrise vow reading at the beginning of a wedding day, the 23rd. So that's going to be
But hey, we have an Airbnb set up for us.
Yep.
That's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fun.
Honestly, after the wedding and whatnot, it'd be cool to just have a couple of drinks and just enjoy the rest of the beach.
That's
day.
exactly what we're going to do.
And it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Absolutely.
And also, so here is one of the plans.
There's a fire pit there.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh, let's go.
So one of the things, I know we're trying to sign out right here, but another thing that I want to manifest into our lives is
we're good. Keep going. I'm looking at the camera again. Yeah, I'm just like blown away. It's over an hour and we're good. Go ahead.
So one of the things I really want to manifest in our lives is I want New Wave Media as a whole, not just as a studio. I want to shift my weddings into New Wave Media because I want that to provide us with everything we need in all-in-one umbrella.
Well, we had talked about, without getting too into detail, we had talked about continuing George Padilla Photography and continuing Olive Images, but then making a separate brand for wedding photography through New Wave Media as something else.
Our personal brands are more of the lower tier.
Yeah. And then we want to do kind of more of a luxury high-end package experience through New Wave.
You get a video, you get a photographer.
Everything's videoed, everything's photo, everything's 8 to 10 hours, like premium,
luxury, premium, great quality.
So that's what we had talked about doing. But I do think that, moving forward, maybe into next season, the majority of our like effort in terms of like marketing weddings and in terms of like building a wedding business should be on that.
And so that's kind of why I'm bringing that up, is because everything we're doing now as our step, like I'm hiring you under George Padilla Photography.
Right.
You're hiring me under Olive Images.
Right.
Like all of that, I want to start thinking about next year.
Yeah.
How great can we make these next couple of weddings for the rest of the summer for it to be for next year? Just like the Valentine's things we did, just like the Christmas things. Like those are going to come in handy.
And that's one of the reasons too that we're so excited about being on the same camera system now too, is that if we're going to be shooting all of these things together, it's going to be so much easier to have a concurrent style throughout those galleries with two cameras that shoot the same color science, the same lenses, the same system. So that's, I mean, there's really pretty much no downside to switching other than the fact that you won. That's a downside.
I mean, you are officially a fanboy, so
I'm not. I'm not. In fact, I miss my Fuji, and I will own another one.
Oh,
but it'll be for. I really want to be able to get inspired to do like personal photography again.
Yeah.
Because I very rarely pick up my camera unless it's for a paycheck, and I don't love that.
I was going to bring that up too.
At some point, I have a my friend has a X100T that he doesn't use, that he lets me use often. That's Ben. He's one of our faithful listeners. He will hear this and he will say something. I'm sure.
That's Ben's camera?
Yeah, it's Ben's camera.
Oh, okay.
So
which, by the way, he lended me a 4x5 that I'm yet to use.
Yeah, we need to do. It's over there.
It's literally sitting in that chest. It just, so much has happened, but I will get to it.
We'll get there.
So, which brings me back
It'll
to
be
my
a fun video.
Yeah. So that brings me back to right now when you mentioned you wanted to get a Fuji because you want to do something personal.
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing that with the Mamiya.
Yeah, the Mamiya.
It's a film camera.
You sent a bunch of pictures today, and I haven't looked at them yet because I was working. I haven't looked at them yet.
They're so sharp.
I'm so excited to see.
I'm officially
a believer
in love with exactly the camera. Yeah. So remember how I was like in search of like this perfect camera that I want to take for weddings, slow things down, and really just capture film. I've had the Mamiya 3 times now.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten the results.
Twice camping. What's the third one?
No. I've had the Mamiya twice before.
Oh, like you've owned one.
Yeah, correct.
Gotcha.
And so like I've never gotten the results I've wanted until this Mamiya.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I'm actually slowing down more. I'm actually thinking about what I want to shoot. And before it was like, I want it fast. I just want to shoot. I don't want to
shoot like a digital shooter.
Exactly. And now that I have that personal photography side of me back in my life, I'm like, this is it. If I really want to get into my personal stuff for fun, the Mamiya for me is the way to go.
Well,
work stuff is my digital. I
have a very strong appreciation for film, but I don't know if it's for me. I love film. I love the look of film. I love the slowing down like you were talking about, but it's a lot. It's expensive.
It really is expensive.
Very expensive.
I mean,
you had 3 rolls of 120, which was
like $60.
It was $60
or $80.
It was $60.
$60.
It was $60 for how many? 36 exposures?
No, not even 36. It was it was 30.
30 exposures for $60. That's that's rough. I mean, like, it's worth it. They're beautiful and they're like, I think that for me, if I was going to shoot film, I would want to go that extra mile and get prints, not digitals, because I think that part of the disconnect that I have experienced recently when I've shot film over the last couple of years is I just get scans. And I'm like, well, if I'm just going to get scans, I should just shoot digital. Then I don't have to wait 3 weeks to get my scans. But I love prints. I love printed photos. Oh, he's yawning. Oh, it's time to cut it off, guys. He's tired.
I'm not yawning.
This has been a long.
You're yawning.
This has been a long podcast.
Yeah, it's great. We've got so much to talk about and stuff.
And we're still not overheating.
Well, just to put it into
put a pin in it.
Yeah, it's I want to shooting those 3 rolls was really me just seeing if the camera even worked.
Yeah. Now it does.
And it does.
You should bring it. You should bring it on Saturday.
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Never mind.
But what I'm trying to say is like I want to start doing projects on that camera that I can slow things down. For example, if we shoot with Miranda, I want to take it. I want to exercise that camera in that way for my personal like hobby.
You know what, George?
What?
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
With that,
yeah, where can the people find you, George Padilla?
Yeah, they can find me at georgebythephotography.com /links in order for you to find the rest of Everywhere or Anything and Everywhere all at once. It's a good movie.
All of the things everywhere are at georgebythephotography.com /links.
And we are also going to be
launching a New Wave Studio
website.
It is in the works. We had a couple work days where we put some things together. The thing that's holding us up right now is that all of the images on that website right now are just stock photography.
Stock photos just to get a website.
So when we have the keys to the new studio, we're going to go in, get a couple people. So if you're interested, because we know there's a couple of models. I'm looking at you. I'm listening. I know you want you to listen to me. If you're a model and you're listening to this podcast, holler at us, because when we get the keys to this place, we want to get a couple people together and just go in there and shoot. We need to get content for the website. We need to get content for social media. We need to get content for marketing. And we don't have to rent a studio anymore.
Yeah. So if you're interested in being a part of whoa, that was weird.
Yeah.
If you're interested in being a part of New Wave Media, maybe even before the public actually gets to start booking, and you want to,
if you want to shoot there, you want to be a model and be shot there, or if you want to be a makeup artist and set up a shoot there, holler at us.
We are open to anything and everything, as long as we also get that content to post on our website and just make this thing happen. So
thank you.
Hit us up if you are interested. Where can the people find you, Elijah?
The people can find me at www.allloveimages.com. That's ALL, 2 L's, ALLOVE images.com. If you want to find my links, you can go to alllovimages.com/bio. Thank you all so much for listening to just all of this. It has been a blast. I'm so glad to be back.
Me too.
And, we've said it before and we'll say it again. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in, and I'm gonna have the last word here.
You always have the last word, George.
Thank you for tuning in, and I really just want to say thank you for all of you that have been there and are supporting us and continue to support us.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, thank you for going on this journey with us.
We appreciate it. Peace.